Okay, hello everybody. I'm doing a mega filming session because I finally figured out how to number one, film my books, and number two, how to upload them. So I just wanted to share with you today a personal junk journal and how this whole process began for me, which was a few years ago. I bought this book at a thrift store for like $2.99, and I loved the cover. And as usually happens with me, I find something, I buy it because it speaks to me, and I say, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'll figure it out. And last year I discovered junk journaling, and I started out by making some junk journal flow books that I just constructed from scratch and sold in my Etsy store, and they all sold out really quickly, which surprised me. So I thought, there's something here. So I decided one night in the middle of the night when I woke up that I was going to take this beautiful book and this lovely little kernel, and I was going to make a junk journal for myself. So this is a personal junk journal. I won't probably sell it, although I say that, and then maybe someday I will. But it's full of the things that I love. If you're into junk journaling or art journaling or saving paper, you have all kinds of stuff that you just don't know what you want to do with it, but you can't get rid of it. So this is what I do with my stuff. So this book is called The Little Colonel's Holidays, and the old Shirley Temple movies were kind of based upon this story. It was written in the early 1900s. There's 12 in the series. I have turned 2 into junk journals. I'm working on my third. So this is the first one, and this is how it all started for me. So I'm just gonna start. So, oops, just a random piece of paper. So I just, there's all these things that I just like: handwritten notes, typewritten stuff, old-fashioned calling cards, which came out of an old vintage black and white photo album. I used to sell photos on eBay, and so I have a lot to get rid of. This is Starbucks paper and an old prayer card, which I thought was beautiful. I like to collect vintage playing cards. I'm not going to bore you with all the details. I'm going to try and keep my dialogue to a minimum, but I like quirky photographs. 1920s is my thing. I love the graphics and the fashion and all the stuff that comes from the 1920s. I love all these different stamps. Another prayer card. These here are the end papers to vintage books that I've deconstructed. So I know, and I said in a previous video, don't throw them away because they're such beautiful patterns, and you don't see them these days. So hang on to those and use them. This is an old Starbucks card. They used to give them out for free, but they don't anymore. I think they realized that people were like snagging them. I love including lace. Playing card I've had for many, many years. Excuse me, I have a little bit of sniffles. Old illustration, buttons. This is here's another one of those paperclip charms I talk about from orphan earrings. This one is actually, sorry, getting ahead of myself here. Washi tape. I'm not a huge fan of washi tape because it doesn't always stick really well. I find I have to add more glue to it. This is a bridge tally card, which I love. I get those on eBay. I try and find them really cheap, but sometimes they're pretty pricey. 1920s, when women were doing a lot of camping alone without men, which is kind of fun. This one is it's a stitch counter, a knitting stitch counter. A friend of mine is a knitter, and she made these, and I was like, I'm gonna buy a few of those for charms. All kinds of tags. This was an old autograph album that people used to write notes to each other. Another 1920s greeting card. This is from, oh gosh, I can't remember her name. She sells on Instagram, Moxie something. I'll find out and try and post that. I just have all this stuff that I've saved forever. I love this woman here. She's got that little sassiness going on. I just save everything that has like cool graphics on it or is kind of grungy. I love handwritten notes. I recently bought a box of stuff at an estate sale, and it was just heartbreaking because the family didn't want it. It was just in a pile of crap, and it was like naturalization papers and cards and notes, and people they just don't value this stuff anymore, and it's going to end up in a landfill. So I'm kind of on a mission to save it all. So I keep way too much stuff, and this junk journaling has worked out pretty well for me because thankfully my kids will not be burdened with boxes of crap once I die. I'm trying to make it beautiful and pretty, and this first journal, there's not a lot of space for writing. It was more of a collection of beautiful things that spoke to me. So in my later journals, I have made more spaces for writing. This is you could write here. There's another one of my photos. Illustrations from an old book. So anyway, this is just my collection of illustrations and graphics that I love. And they're all from the early 20th century. See, here's this washi tape that's not really sticking very well. I'll have to glue that down. Excuse me. I bought years ago this scrapbook and a bunch of stuff from this couple. They had died with no children, and Woody used to write love notes to his wife Vera almost daily. And so the scrapbook was full of gorgeous cards from the 20s. So because I love them and I can't get rid of them, I've included them. That's kind of a fun little, I remember Smokey the Bear when I was a kid. Oh, this is one, I had another one of these, and I actually included it in the video that I posted earlier today. Here's another one of those orphan earrings. All kinds of cards and calling cards and graphics and stuff it's all just what I love. Look at her, isn't she fun? Sheet music from the early 20th century. Only You. So, oh, and I love this. This is from an old photo album. They used to put this in between the sheets of photos to protect the photos from, because you used to glue your photos into your photo album. So this is all spider webby, not acid free, so it didn't really protect those photos all that much. This is just some stupid little thing I did here. Could write there. This is an old envelope from some guy that was in the military that actually wrote a newsletter and would send them back home. I have those somewhere. I'm on my desk is a collection of military stuff I want to do a book about the Army, book about the Navy. So here's another one of those end papers I'm talking about. I've just stuck it in here because I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'll do something with it. And this is a beautiful label. So I'm not entirely done with this. As you can see, the last bit of pages are not quite done. Just look at that kitty. Isn't that kitty sweet? And this is an old card. So, a love poem I ordered from this woman I ran into in the market. She had a typewriter and she was just writing poetry right there. So I bought a poem from her. I wanted a love poem. So I'll include that. I might put that in my love book because I am going to make a book about love. There's a cute little fox. So, as I said, this is not entirely finished, but when I'm making a junk journal, I'm pretty random. I'm also random in my art journals. I don't do anything in chronological order. It's going to drive my children crazy when I'm dead and they're reading my stories because I don't even keep them in the years. I just open an art journal, open a junk journal, and I just, wherever I open it up to, if it speaks to me, I do something. This is cool. So, anyway, this is the first one. The very first junk journal I ever made out of a vintage book. And that's it. I have 2 more to show you. So there you go.